just thinking about, genocide as a concept and jelly, right? And so then you have Damon Salvatore covered in peanut butter that some people, but not me, would like to lick off of him.
Mm-hmm. And then Klaus covered in jelly.
Right, not the plan, but go ahead. I feel like, though, if you use Klaus as the stand-in for the concept of genocide...
Oh my god!
Then it works.
Yeah. Welcome to Page to Stage.
Oh, fuck!
Where the books write the script and we set the scene. I'm Emma.
And I'm Maddie.
And today, we already did 45 minutes recording that didn't record.
You've heard this at least twice before because it happens to us a lot.
I don't know why.
I know why.
You know why?
Yeah, there's something wrong with our brains.
But I was recording.
I know.
Don't worry. Okay. Anyway, you've heard this so many times, and we do apologize, and mostly to ourselves, because you don't care if we record 12 times.
No, but we are very upset.
Yeah, but the good news is we know what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the last episode, the 40 minutes we recorded, actually was a whole lot of nothing that started to lead into something.
Right. So, if you don't mind, we're going to jump right in.
Yes. And we'll go right into today's book that we are covering, which is Heartless Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote that book?
Kristen Ciccarelli. Let me pull
like
it
that,
up
yeah.
so I feel like I can at least try to pronounce her last name.
How crazy would it be if this book was written by Kristen Chenoweth?
Yeah, really crazy. Yeah, Kristen Ciccarelli?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. This is a YA, but we don't think it actually is a full YA. We think it's more like a new adult.
Yeah.
And we actually really enjoyed it. Like, the lack of fervor you hear in our voices actually has nothing to do with the fact that we didn't like this book, because we did like this book.
No, we were just tired 45 minutes ago when we started recording the first time.
Yep.
I'm sick. She just put on a show.
Yeah.
And now we've lost 45 minutes of footage that wasn't good, but was funny.
Yeah, mostly funny.
And now we're here.
Which is fine. So we're gonna handle it. We're gonna talk about how we would stage the first of these two books.
Right. It is as a courtroom drama.
Yes.
Similar to...
Well, it stemmed from the idea of 12 Angry Jurors.
Right.
And then it kind of morphed from 12 Angry Jurors into high school mock trial, and then into just a pre-rehearsed full show in a courtroom.
Right.
Whether it be a real courtroom or a...
Oh, it should be a real courtroom.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, like we actually rent out a real courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the audience is kind of watching as the jury, more or less.
Yeah.
Or as just like the people who go in, like, you know how court cases are, you can just go watch.
I think the audience can be the jury.
I think so too. And I think what could be cool is to let them vote at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about 12 Angry Jurors because it's a kind of show we haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are not familiar, it basically is a group of humans who is here together to deliberate on the findings of a case that they just watched and decide whether or not the person is guilty or should be acquitted. And it's pretty cool because it starts with all 11 of the 12 people being on team, this person is guilty. And the one person kind of being like, but what about this? And then they kind of, as they talk and as they go through it, they actually end up switching sides completely.
Right. You said by the end, they decide to acquit.
I do believe that is the case.
Defendant of murder.
Yes. And I do believe it's murder. Listen, it's been like 8 years since I've seen this, but I do think that that's the whole thing. So we started there and then talked about how when I was in high school, I did mock trial and how you prepare a whole case and you present it and you go against another team and their team has the other half of the case, but you have the whole thing ready to go. And it's very interesting to watch from the outside if you haven't seen the case 75 times, because it is just like a case.
Yeah.
Without all the recesses, without all the things.
No, it sounds super fun.
And so it is super fun. It was like LARPing for business majors.
Yeah.
But it was pretty neat. I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's a good starting space for this first book.
For sure. So what we are going to do, we have decided, is put Rune Winters on trial for being the Crimson Moth.
Yes. And then we can have lawyers who have, who are the prosecuting attorney and the defense attorney. We can have witnesses, and throughout all of their testimonies, throughout the closing and opening statements, it tells the whole story of this book in just a different and unique way.
Yeah.
Except at the end is when we get the big reveal from the book that Verity is actually Cressida. I don't know if that happens while she's on the stand or if that happens. Verity is the lawyer. I don't 100% know.
I was thinking maybe it would be funny if the lawyers were the Sharp brothers.
Ooh.
Like, Gideon is prosecuting and Alex is the defense.
The problem with that is that if you want to get technical.
Right.
Well, actually.
That's a conflict of interest.
It's a giant conflict of interest for both of them.
Yeah.
Especially
because they're
Gideon,
both in love with her.
Because they're both in love with her, but especially because Gideon, is more of a witness to all of the things.
That's true.
I kind of think Harrow is
Harrow.
probably the prosecuting attorney.
We could do Harrow and Verity.
And I think Verity is probably the defense attorney.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Alex comes in as Verity transforms into Cressida. And he's like, you can't do this. I love her.
Yeah.
And then, everything goes into chaos. And then Alex gets shot. And that's the end.
Yep.
You've seen this whole court case. And there's no resolution to it. And I think that's one of the only ways you can do a cliffhanger in a play.
Right. And we do it a lot. But it's because there's a lot of cliffhangers in books. And plays do it a lot. Like an open ending, kind of.
Mm-hmm. But especially with this one, I think we have them come back and announce the verdict. And I mean, the evidence is clear that she is the Crimson Moth.
Yeah.
And if not, someone gets one charge of vigilante justice or 12 charges of vigilante justice and one charge of being a witch.
Right.
And it is clear she has no casting scars, all that jazz. But I think that
I forgot. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I forgot what a prevailing plot line of the first book that was. It was yeah, but how naked did you get her?
And he's like, I saw her whole body. I took her measurements. And then Harrow's like, well, was it Harrow or was it Layla?
I think it was Harrow.
Harrow was like, yeah, well, if I was a witch, I would keep my scars in between my thighs. Have you been there? And he's like, no. And she's like, well, you better. And then he's like, okay, we'll go skinny dipping. And she was like, not good enough.
Right. Yeah. A little bit crazy that was technically the plot driver.
Yeah.
But understandable within the world building.
Yes. And so I think that would be a really cool way to do this play.
Yeah.
And I think it would be it'd be very different.
Do you think, sorry.
No.
Do you think her uterus was silver? Is silver on the inside? Because
she uses the blood for casting? Maybe, but she doesn't cause harm to it for casting.
That's
true. The people who, when she used Alex's blood, he didn't turn silver.
Okay.
I don't think, well, he died. So I don't know, but when she used with their wedding rings at the end, he got a casting scar, but I don't know if that's because it was part of the ritual.
Yeah, that's what I was working off of. Anyway,
I did not enjoy that she collected period blood in little vials.
No, me neither. We talked a lot about it. We almost quit. I'm glad we didn't.
I'm glad we didn't too, but I didn't like that. And then we had to talk about the
efficacy?
Yeah, but also the I don't know, the social is the reason we think it's gross because it's period blood. And if so, why is that gross versus normal blood?
And I think we did come to the conclusion Like,
That it's the uterus chunks?
yeah, that's why we think it's gross. And the difference between it and normal blood is not only the uterus chunks, but like the other fluids.
Yeah.
And so then we thought it would probably be less effective for casting, which did seem to be the case.
Yes, I think, and yeah. Because as soon as she was caught, she was like, okay, we're not using uterus blood anymore.
Right. But we also did decide that other old blood was also gross.
Yes, that is true. Other old blood is also gross, and bottling any sort of blood is pretty yucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did get, I mean, it was totally fine. At one point at the end of the first book, she was like, and then I felt the telltale cramping in my lower abdomen.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
straight up thought she was going to just like dip her finger in and cast
Me
with
too.
it.
I
was
got
like,
so
"No,
scared.
don't
I was like,
do it."
no way she's having a plot relevant period right now.
Yeah.
And she's just going to be like,
Hold up, here you go.
give me a sec.
And she did, except then Alex died and she used his blood. So.
Right.
So maybe Alex dies, she uses his blood, and then that's blackout. Like, uses his blood to escape, and that's the end.
Okay.
Maybe, like, up until then, it's a little bit ambiguous whether or not she is a witch. She is the Crimson Moth. And I think that works really well for my original thought, which was that we need to show both sides of this story.
Yeah.
Because Gideon is so traumatized
Mm-hmm.
by witches. Like, it's not just a, like, I hate them because I was told to. It's an I hate them because I was held captive and, like, abused by one.
Yeah. This book, had it been longer, I mean, I'm sure the author did research into lots of things, but had the author, like, sat down with, like, doctors, maybe, it's potentially a really good exploration of trauma.
Mm-hmm. I agree and understand, like, the working through of that. I do think that because of that, it lends itself really well to being a story that doesn't necessarily have a right and wrong side.
Yeah.
Which she does get into for the second book. That, like, both versions of this society were bad. Now we need to figure out how to make a new one.
Right.
Which is always the end of YA novels.
Yep. They're like, you know what we should do? Revolutionary idea I've had just here. Democracy.
Yes. Which, now I have a question.
Yeah.
How much of that is, like, an American nationalistic thought?
A lot.
Because, like, to be, like, the fix to this totalitarian regime of whatever sort is this thing that we do in America.
What did they do in France after?
I think they went to a democracy. They're a democracy now.
Yeah. So this one, because it's based in some ways in the French Revolution, I think that makes sense for.
Yeah.
But examining it as a trope, I think it's probably based more than authors would like to think.
Yeah, and, like, this is the right way to do things, which, as we are currently seeing in our society, is it has its problems.
Yep.
Because we're not a true democracy, and I don't know that there is a true democracy.
Probably not.
Okay, with all of that, let's talk about how we want to do this.
Yes, we always start with what kind of stage, and it's
a courtroom.
Oh. We'd originally talked about in the round, but you're right. We did decide just now to set it in a real courtroom.
If you've never been to a courtroom, go to Google real quick. Google fancy courtroom. I am specifically envisioning, like, a pretty old courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty cool. Like, bleacher seats, not bleacher seats, like the pews almost. It's kind of what is in the galley.
What additional set dressing are we going to do to make it clear that this is a courtroom in this fantasy world, or are we not?
Good question. I mean, I think having a flag of the New Republic.
Yeah.
And then if we had, like, maybe wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like the owl insignia.
I think it'd be really interesting to come up with something for, like, all 7 ancients, maybe, and have them, like, on, like, a Greek style, like a carving on, like, an arch. To have a symbol of all 7 ancients. But probably featuring wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I was
that
just
would be
thinking,
great.
like, on the front of the judge's stand. Like, normally there's a Department of Justice or, like, a, you know, the state emblem. I was thinking if we had, like, wisdom or just, like, justice there.
Yes.
The and had that, and then had the flag of the New Republic.
And I think it would be interesting to have the flag of the New Republic kind of like covering up what is clearly a very old carving
Mm-hmm.
that is the emblem of Cascadia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can see it a little bit behind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really set dressing because, I mean, I guess it depends on how we want to do this. But if the audience is sitting in the galley, they aren't sitting in the jury box.
That's true.
So we would have people sitting in the jury box,
Mm-hmm.
actors potentially sitting in the jury box, or at the beginning of the play, we could select
Yeah.
12 audience members to be in the jury box.
I think that would be
really cool. That would be really cool. I do like that. And so maybe we do that, and then so they go and sit over there. So clipboards and stuff. That's more prop like. But I can't really think of any other set dressing if I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about a courtroom. Typically there are tissues up on the witness stand. There are also typically a little pitcher of water with some cups on the witness stand.
I'm wondering if we don't put a whole platform setup that they use to, what do they call it? They do to the witches?
Purging?
Yeah. We have a whole purging platform, just like
off in the corner.
Off to one side.
Yeah. I like it. That way, as soon as Rune is found guilty, she'd be walked up to purge.
Yeah. And I think it wouldn't be amiss to have it like bloodstained.
Yeah. I think,
just so you don't forget.
Right. I think also if we were to have her, that scene in the book where she's at that party and they like hand her the knife and is like, here, kill Seraphine.
Yes.
Like, what if that's part of her witness testimony? It's like, if you're not a witch, kill this witch.
Okay.
Don't be a witch sympathizer. And then maybe that's how we go to intermission.
Yeah.
Is like the smell of fire.
I like that a lot. Okay. So that's the set.
Mm-hmm.
Costumes,
yeah.
She talks a lot about their red coats.
Yes.
Like at length.
I think the entirety of prosecution is in red.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
are they in red lawyer clothes though? Or are we trying to dress them like fantasy characters?
It didn't seem to me much like they were dressed in any way that wasn't just like normal.
I think that's true.
Like, except that one dress that he made her that was pretty ugly.
Yeah, it was really ugly. I'm sorry.
It was not very cute. I mean, it's very sweet that he made it for her.
Yes.
But like,
and
that
all
was
the
not
flowers, like when he was like, I stayed up all night.
Making you buttercups?
Oh,
that
Gideon Sharp.
I do love Gideon Sharp.
Cutie.
What a guy. He's such a cutie. And I like really felt his heartache when he found out that she was a witch.
Yes.
And he was like, I was tricked by a witch again. Like, that hurt. That one was ouchy.
Yeah. And I really did like Rune. Yeah, she wasn't ever really annoying. Which is nice.
Except she was a little annoying in the second book with the like, you can't love me.
Oh, well, yeah, she was annoying when she was stupid.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She like grew into herself.
She did. If we have the entire prosecution in Bloodguard red.
Yeah.
And then
we associate black with witches, but they didn't
really specify.
What was Cressida always wearing?
She had like white hair and silver eyes and
yeah, we could work with like grays and silvers to like mimic the casting scars since that's kind of what we've got.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think that totally works, and they bring in Seraphine and then that happens, and yeah, Seraphine's got to be wearing prisoner garb.
Yeah.
So, like, rags.
Yeah.
What about, are there any other characters? Like Alex. What should Alex be wearing when maybe he'll come in as a witness, I assume.
Yeah.
But then when he comes in also as
a tailcoat.
A tailcoat.
Like Abraham Lincoln's favorite 3-piece suit.
Ooh, and a top hat?
Yeah. But in his hand. Because he's harried. He's in a rush.
Yes. And he's in a courtroom, and you cannot wear a hat in a courtroom.
Correct.
That's not allowed.
But I think it needs to be clear that he never put it on his head. He's been running since he left his house.
Yeah. Do we have him come in before he comes in and gets killed?
Probably.
Or is he just a guy that we hear about?
Well, we were talking about how deaths are more meaningful when the character is important.
Yes.
But since it's for shock value a lot anyway,
yeah,
maybe we just hear about him.
And I think if we hear about him and Gideon, like some of Gideon's like whole testimony is like, that's my brother, he'd never lie to me.
Right.
And then Rune is like, that's your brother, he'd never lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if we hear a lot about him and then, at one point Rune is playing with the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And the lawyer asks her about it and she's like, yeah, I'm engaged to Alex.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, I do hear something I thought of. When Cressida reveals herself to be Cressida and not Verity, I know it doesn't make any sense, but I don't actually care. I want a Cinderella dress transformation.
Ooh, okay. I mean, I think it makes sense. She's a witch. She went from one total other person into this.
Right. It's just that that's like not quite how their magic works. But
Oh.
like, I don't care.
Well, but we could watch her, like, see her start, like, writing on, like, quote unquote, writing on something with her finger. And then as she stands up, like, drop a vial of blood or something that she's crushed in her hand.
Yeah.
And then Cinderella dress transformation.
Yeah. That'd be good. We're gonna have somebody, like, yank a wig off.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very dramatic. I like that. I think that's all of costumes.
Is that all of costumes? Okay. Let's talk
the witch manacles, I think, are technically a costume piece instead of a prop.
Those are pretty cool. All, like, wrapped all the way around the hand. I imagine them like a ball.
Yeah, they made me think of Frozen.
Yes. Just like Frozen.
Do you think Rune is wearing these the entire time she's being tried? Do they take them off for, like, the respect of the courtroom?
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think so. They don't take the handcuffs off of murderers.
True.
Like, they leave them on while they're testifying.
Okay. So that's everything for costumes. Props?
Big binders full of photos and different exhibits.
Yeah.
For the court.
And we're going to have, I think, a projector for this
Probably.
one. But kind of like, I feel like you almost want to give the impression that it's like a dot cam.
Yes.
Like, this is a thing that I, litigator, am showing the judge.
Yes.
And you, jury, can see it on that screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the entering evidence and everything. This isn't really a prop, but I don't know where else this goes in. I think having the, like, objections and bylaws and, like, the objection, that's hearsay, and then, like, the, like, all of that sort of stuff that really makes it feel courtroomy.
Yeah.
I think, along with the big easel that you, like, draw stuff on, or you put up a big example of your, like, a big copy of part of your evidence, or, those types of things, I think are going to be huge for making this feel like a full court case.
Yes, absolutely. I wonder if we couldn't get, like, hypothetically a real judge.
Okay.
Who was, like, had an acting interest.
Yeah. Like, hey, you bored?
You a little bit bored?
You want to come do this play in a courtroom?
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
So then if there's an actual judge, and they'd be wearing, like, the judge's cloak situation.
Now I just wish we could get Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh.
Well, I'm thinking about her because when I was still your student, my AP government teacher was telling us all about how she and some guy, also a federal judge, I just don't remember him.
Sure.
Would go, like, they were often had opposing views, but they would go, like, once a month together to see operas.
Okay.
For, like, their entire careers. And so when she died, I guess, they wrote an opera about the pair of them.
Oh, cool.
And I think that's kind of cute.
That is kind of cute. She'd be a good one. She'd also be like, stop prosecuting witches.
Yeah.
Any other props?
No, really just the courtroom stuff. Like, there's going to be a gavel. There's going to be courtroom stuff.
Yeah. The little pitcher of water I was talking about earlier, the thing of tissues.
They should probably have as hand props, like, vintagey handguns. Really, yeah, I think that's really it.
Yeah. Casting knife, maybe?
Maybe.
I mean, really, they shouldn't have one of those either.
No, but I feel like
Cressida needs one at least.
Right.
Her spell that she put on herself keeps the metal detectors from seeing all of that.
Yeah, it's strapped to the hip of her crazy ball gown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's costumes and props and set.
Yeah.
Lights, if we're just setting this in a courtroom, do we need lights, or are we planning on just doing the courtroom lights? Because I think we could do like light trees.
What?
Light trees, it's like they're like the metal things that you can hang lights on that aren't on the ceiling.
Oh.
Like set them to the sides of the stage and you hang lights so you can angle them.
Yeah,
and
no,
we
I do know what
could
you
do
mean.
that.
I'd like to have maybe just like 2 little light trees for spotlights for like the witness being interviewed and the lawyer talking.
Okay.
Or like 2 people at once should pretty much always be like a little bit lit.
Yeah.
But since it's already bright in there, it's not going to be
I was
like
gonna say, unless we darken it in there, it's gonna be just light like a room.
Yeah. So I don't know that it matters.
Okay. Cool.
Just lit like a room.
Yeah. And then
sound wise,
yeah. There's no music in court.
no, but does it enrich the experience if we give it a soundtrack?
Maybe, but it also would pull us away from the realism of the court case itself.
That's true.
Like, what I think the types of sounds could be is like any recordings.
Yeah.
That anybody got during the, if Gideon got something from her. Like when she was in the casting room and he overheard her and that's how he found out. Like maybe he pulls out a tape recorder and records for a minute and we enter that as evidence and
absolutely
that sort of stuff.
I'm thinking about now how they go to the theater in this book.
They do. At the very beginning.
How I just thought that was kind of funny.
That was fun. And then she
was
reading
it for this.
She was like, I love the opera.
Yeah.
She does love the opera.
She does.
Yeah, no, that was at the very beginning. And so I think maybe when the witnesses are reminiscing on things, we could play a little bit of the music. Like if they're at the opera, you hear that behind him telling that story.
Yeah. I don't know that it's necessary. I just wanted to make sure we'd considered it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it.
Are there any bright and shiny moments from this book that you wanted to mention before we move on to a segment?
Probably. I liked that she was a socialite.
Yes.
I think that all too often these heroines, although they are always proved capable of being charming when they need to for espionage purposes at some point, they don't really think of it as a strength.
Yeah.
And it's her big thing.
It is her big thing. She's like, yeah, I am so cunning.
Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of Aelin.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, less traumatized maybe.
Yeah, I really liked Rune.
Me too.
Did take me a hot minute to, for whatever reason, my brain was like, Rune is the male main character. I don't know why Rune as a name just kind of stuck in my brain as...
Rune is the male main character, one of the male main characters of a book I read, but you didn't read it.
What book is it?
Crescent City.
Oh. Maybe that's why. Maybe I just know that from the Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
But
he's one of the only characters I told you about because I liked him and Lydia, but not a lot else about those books.
Yeah. I highlighted this one that seems to just be a slight edit, copy, and paste from Twilight.
Oh, good.
Which is, she was like a deer making eyes at the wolf.
Yeah.
They wanted to eat her for lunch.
Okay.
Stupid deer.
Now we have to talk about that. Why?
Yeah.
So
the lion fell in love with the lamb.
Oh.
What a stupid lamb.
No.
What a sick, masochistic
Stop.
lion. The whole time
they kept coming back to it. They dropped it in the second book, which makes me think she must have gotten some kind of feedback.
hey, what if you don't use the same sort of situation as Twilight? This is a much better book than Twilight.
Right, not because it's a copyright thing. Nobody cares about that, but because nobody liked that about Twilight.
Yeah.
It's just a meme now.
Yeah. Lion fell in love with the lamb.
Stop.
Yeah, those were my highlights. That was it. I don't know. I didn't have anything crazy, but that...
Yeah.
That was mine. I was just seeing if I had any shiny moments, but not really.
I loved that his trade that he knew before he was a revolutionary was his parents, and that his parents' trade was they were seamstresses.
Yes.
That was great.
I loved it, especially I think you texted me when he first brought her a flower and you were like, I hope that he made that.
Yeah, because I didn't think he would have. I was
Yeah.
like, he probably like found it and his mom made it, but like, wouldn't it be nice if he sewed it for her himself?
And
then he
did.
did.
All those buttercups.
Yeah.
Which was just so sweet.
I think it's just a part of me that is, I mean, jaded, and like that, it's probably not fair. But like, I feel like in our culture, women are much more likely to give handmade gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And usually handmade gifts are the kind of thing that take a person a really long time.
Yeah.
They're really thoughtful. And so to see that was really nice.
Yeah. Like, he is the Blood Guard captain and he is massacring people. But, like, not in the same way that a lot of, like, morally gray characters are. Like, I don't know that he is morally gray. I feel
don't
like
think so.
he has his strong, this is what is needed to protect people I love.
And when he realized he was wrong,
yeah,
he
did the right thing.
Yeah, he really worked to make amends, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he did the thing that was like, oh, I've learned, so I know different now.
Right.
Which is what you have to do.
Yeah.
When you learn new information.
Before you know better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't excuse all of the deaths.
No.
But it does give him the forgivability factor.
Yeah. Makes him redeemable as a character. I also think, I don't know, I really liked how you could kind of tell the whole time, like, he doesn't hate witches.
Right.
He's really, really scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's a kind of hate. It's a
Yeah.
really common kind of hate. But, like, it wasn't malicious.
Yeah. It didn't seem like, he just seems like, do you see what they're capable of?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, he assumed the Crimson Moth is draining all these people of their blood.
Right. And, like, I, too, would probably...
That would freak me out.
Yeah, I'd be like, we need to find this person. That's really dangerous and really scary.
Yeah, and we need to stop them because they're murdering people.
Right.
What they didn't see the other side of was that, yes, but so are you.
Right.
Like, you are murdering people. They might be witches, but they're people.
And that was his journey.
Yeah, and it was a good journey.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. I loved that he ended up with a casting scar at the end of book 2.
Yes.
I was truly hoping there was going to turn up one male lich.
I know. I felt like it was going to be Antonio?
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name?
Yeah, the acolyte.
Yeah, he was being all cagey, and he really never stopped being kind of cagey.
No.
But whatever.
Because he knew that Seraphine was wisdom?
Maybe. Seraphine wasn't, whatever. Let's do a segment.
Yeah.
What's the one where we talk about the Vampire Diaries?
Salvatore season?
Yeah, but that's the one where we read fanfiction about the Vampire Diaries.
We don't just have one where we talk about the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, but like, what if we did?
Hey, this is Emma from the post-recording editing studio. Just jumping in to say, hey, if you're my parents or Maddie's parents, you should just skip ahead like 3.5 minutes. This is one of these times that we pretend that you don't listen to our podcast. And you should just catch us for Theater of the Absurd. For now, everybody else enjoy a modified Salvatore season. If you were... No. Never mind.
What were you going to ask me?
Well, you don't have an answer because you would not want to lick peanut butter off of anybody. So my question was going to be if you were going to lick peanut butter off of a Vampire Diaries character, which one would it be? But then my other question was going to be if you were going to be in a peanut butter and jelly threesome with 2 vampire characters, who would they be? But I
simply don't have answers.
You simply don't have answers for me. And that's, fine, I guess. But
well, what about you?
Well, considering my first thought was Damon and Klaus.
You're thinking you're sticking with that.
Well, that was my first thought. That was my gut reaction. And so a lot of times your gut reaction is the truth.
Right.
But if I wanted to diversify, I think, well, it kind of depends on the vibe you want.
Yeah.
Like, if you want some crazy business, like it's Kai and Catherine.
You're correct, but that's crazy.
That would be crazy business. Like, I'm not getting out of that alive.
No, absolutely not. But like, what a way to die.
What a way to go, And I think Catherine's got to be the jelly in that situation.
The genocide, you mean?
The genocide and the jelly,
Yeah.
And Kai's also fairly genocidal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you want it to be like, more chill or whatever,
More.
like less murdery,
Uh-huh.
Caroline and Alara.
That sounds awful. Like, listen, I can't give you like actual opinions because I just have nothing to tie them to. But like when you say Damon and Klaus, like intellectually, I can connect that. Lark and Caroline just sounds bad. That sounds like a bad time.
I think Damon and Klaus would also be crazy.
Yeah, but like it's a different. I feel like that's a different kind of bad time.
Yeah. Yes. Like, if you want it to be the most vanilla thing in the whole world, it's Elena and Matt Donovan.
I don't think they'd even agree.
Well, no, probably not. Liv
Okay.
and listen, I don't want Tyler there.
But that's the answer for that one.
It is the answer for that.
Tyler was a hard character to like because he was almost hot enough to make up for his flaws, but he just wasn't.
So
Just like
true.
not quite.
Yeah, like, ooh, but you just barely missed the boat
Just
there.
barely missed the boat. I could almost forgive you for all of this nonsense, but I can't.
You're not hot enough.
Nope.
Okay, should we do another segment? It's time for
Theater of the absurd.
theater of the absurd. Theater of the absurd.
Woo!
Theater of the absurd is our segment in which we discuss something that is absurd and is probably brings us a lot of joy for like zero reason. Oh, this one's long actually.
Oh,
That's crazy. Most
they're
of
usually
these,
like 50 pages.
Usually these are like 50 to 75 pages, but not
this
today.
one is how long?
209.
Wow.
Which makes me, which makes me think it maybe
Is good?
No,
Is that what you're gonna say?
No, certainly not good. But is like has plot?
Okay, yeah.
Maybe? Or like attempted at plot?
Yeah, these are usually very silly books.
Yes.
At least half the time they're satire. Like
Probably,
they're
yeah.
meant for comedy.
People write them because it's silly. Most of the time there's some sort of object romance or like sentient something romance. And I think most of the time people write them because it's like, look at this silly book we wrote. And then everyone's like, oh, this is so good. My brain doesn't have to think at all.
Yeah, sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes it's not a joke. We
don't
don't
know.
actually care.
Or no.
We just think they're great.
Yeah. They are so funny. So, this book, wow, came out in 2025.
Okay.
But somehow there are 5 editions of it.
All right.
Which is crazy. I don't know why. It is called The Final Dip.
Right.
And the subtitle is One Nugget. Endless Temptations.
Yeah. I think perhaps I sent this to you.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I remember thinking the good part about it, because I really only looked at this picture of the cover, was it's object on object?
It is object on object, yes. I think
which is unusual.
Where I'm looking at it right now, it was an Instagram post.
Yeah.
That was a picture of this lady's Kindle.
Yeah.
And at the top, the caption was, at my 7-year-old's robotics class, reading about a woman who transforms into a nugget and fucks some sauces. And here's the description. Penelope never expected that one last fateful dip would transform her.
I feel like Penelope has been the name like at least 4 times now. But whatever.
Penelope's a good sentient object romance name.
Okay.
Not just spiritually, but literally. Into a chicken nugget. Thrust into a bizarre world. A bizarre world of dipping sauces, teeming with seduction, temptation, and forbidden flavor.
Talk to me about how ranch is seductive. Talk to me about that.
I don't know that ranch is one of the options.
You don't think?
Well, in this cover,
all right,
I'm seeing a honey mustard. Oh no, I lied. I think that is ranch.
Okay.
Ranch, barbecue, but the ranch definitely looks Like he's just there to have a good time. He's not seductive at all. Down in the bottom left.
Oh, you're correct. That is.
He's just like, hey. Whereas
Yeah.
the barbecue sauce is like,
Yeah.
she explores the depths of her own desires in ways she never thought possible. Each sauce offers a new indulgence, a new craving, a new high, but nothing lasts forever. Returned to her human form, Penelope searches desperately for that same intensity in the arms of others, only to be left unsatisfied, untouched in the ways that matter most. That is, until she meets Enzo. Do you think Enzo's a sauce turned into a human?
That's a great question to keep reading.
Okay. Mysterious, grounded, and devastatingly intuitive. He stirs something in her that she thought was gone forever. He doesn't just make her feel human again, he makes her feel everything. Based on 88 reviews.
I think Enzo is Italian dressing.
Who gets chicken nuggets in Italian dressing?
Nobody. But anyway.
Okay.
88 reviews.
88 reviews. 2.06 stars.
Right. Listen.
Hilarious. Loved the first half. Could do without the second. 0.5 stars. Nothing about this makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Bad. Extremely, very not good. But cleansing for the palate, ironically.
Okay.
So I read this and all I could think was, when I finish was, what the fuck did I just read?
So here's what I want to know, and we usually try not to ask this, but I feel like it's pretty low stakes in this scenario. Is the sex that a chicken nugget has with dipping sauce just, like, sitting in it? Right. With what?
She wasn't just
she
a
flies,
nuggie.
though? Like, with what momentum power?
I don't know, but I do need to read you this quote from it.
Okay.
She wasn't just a nuggie.
No.
She was a sauce master.
No.
A flavor slut.
No.
A gluttonous goddess of spice and seduction.
All right.
Wow.
I feel like the next time I'm feeling a little bit cool, I'm gonna be like, I'm not just a nuggie. Probably. It's probably what everyone should do.
Yeah. This is very creative use of free will.
Aren't they always?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's that.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our Heartless Hunter courtroom drama.
Yes, we will see you in a couple weeks when we take on the Rebel Witch, the second book in this duology.
Yes. Come join us in 2 weeks.
Yes, and between now and then, why don't you tell us what type of sauce?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask about the sandwich thing.
Oh! Well, that too, but
no, this is better.
Tell us what type of sauce you think you would marry.
Right, like if you
were
had
a chicken nugget.
Yeah, if you're a chicken nugget and you have to pick a sauce.
To marry forever.
Which one's for you?
Yeah, I think I choose honey mustard.
Do you?
I do. I love honey mustard.
Yeah.
The problem is, for me, that I like honey mustards, specific honey mustards with specific nuggets and tendies.
Yeah.
Like,
So you have to know what you taste like.
To know which one's which. So maybe I'm just going with a solid Hidden Valley.
Yeah, I certainly am.
I like a ranch.
Yeah.
Ranch is good. Yeah. Okay, well, tell us that. Reach out to us, Page to Stage Pod on Instagram or pagestagepod@gmail.com. Or go to your nearest courtroom. And barge in.
Yeah. Interrupt the trial.
In the middle of a trial. And yell at them. And say, hey, everybody, I know your phones are not allowed to be on right now because we're in a courtroom. But you should listen to Page to Stage.
Yep.
And then they will, and then the bailiff will escort you out, and it'll be a very fun, memorable moment for everyone involved.
And if you do that, write to tell us about it.
Yes.
And if, per se, the bailiff was hot,
ooh,
you should probably use that as a stimulus to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And then come on this podcast.
Yeah, and talk to us about the hot bailiff and your enemies to lovers journey.
Right.
From trying to convince people to listen to our podcast.
Anyway, bye!
Okay, bye!
Our editing on Page to Stage is done by Emma.
Our music is by A Strange Mood Productions. Thank you for building us these sick beats.
If you want to contact us, that's at Page to Stage Pod on Instagram, or you could send us an email at pagetostagepod@gmail.com. Our Instagram is run by a tiny feral raccoon. We love her a lot.
And we love you a lot. We'll see you next time. But, Your Honor, with all due respect, you weren't there, and I am simply just a girl. Rune Winters, probably.